What if the mark of the beast isn't a myth? What if it's real and it's happening right now? Revelation 13 says, no one can buy or sell unless they have the mark on their hand or forehead. Could this mark be a digital ID, a microchip, or even a AI-powered surveillance? Well, the World Economic Forum is rolling out a system that tracks your buying and selling and even your movement. And governments and tech companies are partnering to create CBDC as a global digital currency. It may not look like 666, but what if it's the same thing? What if it's spiritual allegiance wrapped in digital convenience? The Bible says the line between security and surrender is getting thin. So I'll ask you, are you paying attention? Comment what you think the mark of the beast could be and hit subscribe for more biblical truth in the digital age.
Shalom. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahabashai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, because those are the men who I learned the truth from through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahabashai. Yahweh is the true name of the God of Israel. Yahabashai is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, but his one and only true name is Yahabashai. And pretty much, you know, through the spirit, I'm doing another Mark of the Beast video, because, you know, that's really the next major prophecy that's going to come to pass. And it's going to come to pass during Jacob's trouble. Remember, the scriptures call it the hour of temptation. The hour during what? Jacob's trouble. All right? When all hell breaks loose in the form of a great global economic collapse, mainly in America. And then there's going to be persecution upon the Hebrew Israelites. But ultimately, this financial system is going to crash, which is going to lead to the unemployment rate going sky high, inflation, hyperinflation, all type of things, right? So during this time, you're going to have famine. You're going to have people betraying one another. The scriptures say the love of many is going to wax cold. You're going to have like actual people, you know, purging during this time period. They already started doing now. You know, before they had like the different migrant gangs, but things is going to get worse. This is Revelation 13 and 15. It says, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which the he is referring to Esau, Edom. And he got power from the Most High to what? Fulfill end-time prophecy. The scriptures say in Revelation, the 20th chapter, the first 3 verses, it mentions how Satan was loose from his prison. The Satan-like men, or the Satan that's referring to, is the Edomites as a nation, because they was in captivity for 1,000 years under the Israelites when we ruled during the Dark Ages, or the medieval times, or what they call the Byzantine Empire. That was Israelites that was ruling, all right? So there was a time period where these Edomites, they started taking us down, right? They started taking over the countries we was in, the strongholds, and then eventually what happened is it led to the Renaissance era, which is the rebirth of the Edomites coming back into rulership, all right? So they've been in power since pretty much the 1300s. So he got power from the Most High to fulfill end-time prophecy. It says that he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. The image of the beast is what? His new system that he's getting ready to implement, the New World Order, this 2030 agenda, the cashless digital society, in which if you want to participate under this new system, because that's the true image, because we also understand that this system is modeled after the first beast, which is the ancient Roman Empire, all right? The old empire that the Edomites used to rule under and rule over, right? So it says, so the image is talking about what? His new world order, ultimately. If you want to be a part of his new system, his new financial system, is going to require you to take a physical mark that they plan to make mandatory throughout all countries. And if you don't take it, you're going to be excluded. You won't be able to buy or sell. Your whole life is centered around buying and selling. So he's going to use that against you. That's why it's called the hour of temptation, right? It says, of the beast and the image of the beast shall both speak, and it's speaking right now. Look at all the articles, all the information coming out. It says, and calls that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed, which is ultimately leading to what? Persecution. All right. The main ones that's going to be persecuted is the Hebrew Israelites, the seed line of the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, because we're the Israelites, right? So the time period is coming where we're going to be persecuted. We're going to be killed. And that's what Revelation 20 and 4 says. All right. It says that the elect of the nation of Israel, the ones that's alive or remain during that time, we're going to be beheaded. Why? Because we're not going to bow down to this man image. That's why it says that what? That whoever don't worship the image of the beast should be killed. That's talking about the brothers that's alive during that time, right? Brothers and sisters. It says, and he calls it, who's the he? The people that control all nations' money supply through the banking system. Every country has a central bank in it, meaning that what? The Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, right? The Edomites in general, the so-called white man and his seed line, they control how all countries buy and sell through the banking system. Every country has a central bank in it. I don't know what you people don't understand about that. It's very simple. So the time period, or what the scriptures is prophesying before it comes to pass, meaning before it manifests and become reality, is the fact that what? The time is going to come where you're going to have to get a physical mark at your right hand or your left hand or on your forehead or anywhere in your body in order for you to buy and sell, all right? Because this old system, having a commercial bank account, a checking account, savings account, using fiat currency, which is paper money, that's going to be done away with. The money is going to become digital, whether it's going to be stable coins or CBDCs. Really, it's going to be CBDCs. All right, why are they coming out with a cashless digital currency, so it can revolve around the mark of the beast to give them more power. All right, for the purpose of tracking and controlling, so that you become a slave, a permanent slave under their system. Back from the top, Revelation 13 and 16, that he calls of all, meaning this is a worldwide event. Scriptures say the hour of temptation is going to come upon the whole world. Why is that? Because all countries is under the same system, right? All countries buy and sell the same way. It says both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, everybody in society. It says to receive a mark, right? Now, when you go into this word receive, because we have a lot of people that say, oh, the mark of the beast is not a physical mark. It's something that's more spiritual. But that sounds stupid, because how do you buy and sell with something that's spiritual? That don't make sense. The mark of the beast is a physical mark tied to the new financial system they're going to come up with. When you go into this word receive, the Greek word is didomi. I go into it all the time. It says to give something to someone of one's own accord, to give one something to his advantage. What's the advantage the central bank's going to have over you? For the purpose of tracking and controlling every single thing that you do. All right? They even going to have something called a carbon tax under the 2030 agenda. So it's a physical mark. If I give something to someone, that's physical. I can't hand over something that's spiritual in a physical body, in a physical realm. That just sounds dumb. But you got people that teach that. So it says a MARK, mark, right? Now, when you go into the word mark, the Greek word is charagma. And it says a stamp and imprint a mark. Something that's imprinted inside of you. It's a subdermal implant. It goes underneath your skin, right? So ultimately, this is going into what? The procedure of how the mark of the beast is implanted into the individuals that worship the image of the beast, which is his system. You go into the root word of charagma. The word is charax, and it says a pale stick or palisade. Now, according to John Vision, what is that referring to? The syringe that's used to inject the microchip implant. You take it a step further, you go to the root word of charax, it's grapho, Strong's G1125, and this pretty much means to store information on a device. What's going to be on a device? The currency, right? Whether it's tied to the new digital wallet, it's going to be tied to your digital money. The different ways to identify yourself. You're not going to be able to travel or do nothing, all right? You're not going to be able to buy or sell. Everything, your whole life is centered around buying and selling. So that's the temptation part, all right? It says in their right hand or in their foreheads. You have brain chip implants. You have people that's amputees, war veterans. People get into different type of accidents. They lose their limbs. They lose their arms, legs, right? So if they don't have arms, that means they can't get in their hands. So they would get in their forehead. That's why they pushing for what? Neuralink and these different brain chipping companies. It says that no man, this is a worldwide event. All countries is under the same financial system, right? No man worldwide, no matter what language you speak, how you look, might buy or sell. That's the temptation part. That's why they call it the hour of temptation. The hour during what? Jacob's trouble. It says, save he that had the mark or the number, or the name of the beast or the number of his name. All right. Revelation 19:20, it says, and the beast was taken. Who's the beast? NATO and the EU, right, was taken, and with him the false prophet, the Roman Catholic Church. Out of the Roman Catholic Church, that's where you get the mainstream or majority of these false philosophies like Islam and the different Christian denominations, right, that wrought miracles before him, right? His AI technology, right? You got people talk about, oh, I used to be paralyzed, but now I can walk again. Now I feel human again. That's considered a miracle, but he's doing that through evil, right? He's doing that through the left hand. He's doing that through his AI technology, in which the AI, they're trying to say that the way how the Most High created things, it wasn't in its perfection, that the AI is better. It's the same thing with GMOs, all right? Genetically modified foods. Oh, God didn't do this right, so we could do it better. Because ultimately, the AI or transhumanism is all about what? Humans becoming a god, right? Achieving immortality through the AI technology. So that's considered a miracle. And also you have his pseudoscience. It says, before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. So the ones that take the mark of the beast, they're going to be deceived into taking it, right? They're going to think it's a thing of convenience, something that's beneficial, a more convenient way of buying and selling, rather than the old system of cash and commercial banks. It said he deceived them that received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. So the ones that take the mark of the beast, whether you believe or not, you're going to be a part of the lake of fire, which is the second death, which is America getting hit by nuclear destruction. All right? I'm going to end it off with this. Revelation 14:9, and this is going into what? Doom for the worshipers of the beast, which the worshipers of the beast is what? People that believe in this system. Just like you got people that vote. When you go into the etymology, meaning the origin of what the meaning of the word vote means, it means to wish. So you wishing that America is not going to be destroyed, but now you're going against what the Most High predestinated. All right? See, that's people's problem. They don't want to go according to what's written in the scriptures. They want to lean upon their own private interpretation or their own understanding, which that's a demon anyway. And that goes back to Job 12:16. This is Revelation 14:9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man, this is a worldwide thing, worship the beast, NATO in the EU, and his image, his global financial system, right? And receive his mark, there's a physical mark, and his forehead or in his hand, it could be the right or left hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture. So you're going to get the full extent of the Lord's wrath by nuclear destruction. It says, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone and nuclear missiles, the second death, right? And the second death, that applies to strictly only America, all right? It says, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. That's for you false prophets. That's for you atheists, you people that don't believe in the scriptures. This going to happen anyway. You know, the Bible and what the Most High predestinated don't need your approval. Oh, they don't believe, so, you know, who gives a damn? You still going to be a part of second death, because it said the unfaithful and the unbelieving when you read Revelation 21:8. All right? So the ones of you that take the mark of the beast, which is the microchip implant when that time comes, so that you can buy and sell, you will be burnt alive by nuclear destruction. So, Shalom.